Hey guys, what's going on? Jed here, Scott Speed Shop, and today we're going to start the disassembly on the old Jezebel. Get the old headers off and see if we can maybe fix them. Just one of them things where I got the money where I could buy the new $900 Hedman Hustler headers, and not buying TTI because it ain't worth the money to me. But you know, we're not going to get in that. We're not going to even begin to get into that. But yep, got my 5/16 wrench so I can take these really fancy header bolts off, take all the T-handles off. The main thing right now is just to get the bolts out mostly, and then when Dad gets home tonight, we're going to lift the car up as we normally do, put on our wheel chocks, get about 20 inches in the air or whatever so we can work on the underneath, get the exhaust system unhooked, and we can pull these headers out and see if it's worth trying to fix or not. But since this engine might be, you know, down for a while, I went ahead and fabricated, and I know you can buy these, but fabricated my own little exhaust covers, and they're not pretty, but they at least keep stuff from getting inside the exhaust ports with the valves being open and stuff. So this is my test head. This is it's one of the same heads that's on Jezebel, and in fact this is one of the heads that I bought originally, and well, that happened to the guy, and the same thing happened to me with, like, I think this chamber. That's one thing. Don't ever buy the Chinese Pro Comp Speedmaster heads, or you will have that happen to you. You will have it happen. And honestly, I've been down that road where I bought a second head from Speedmaster and fixed it, did all the valve work and everything on it, and it still dropped a valve. But the new heads that are on Jezebel, they are still Pro Comp Casting, Speedmaster Casting. It's the same company. Which this is a copy of Metalbrock Victor raised intake port head. It's a really seriously badass cylinder head. But by the time I got done putting manly valves in it, having my machinist fix the head, put the valves in it and everything, I could have bought Edelbrock heads and probably been a little bit safer. But at least now I know my heads are strong. They got more money and good parts in them than what it cost to even buy the Edelbrocks. But the one thing that's nice about these heads over all the other Chinese heads is the quality of aluminum, at least a couple years ago, was superb. This was a fantastic casting. Mark told me, anybody who doesn't know, Mark is Advanced Engine Machine, that's his shop, and he builds the engines for the farm truck, and that's just the most notable one. He builds all sorts of big cubic inch race engines. And he said, surprisingly, this was actually really easy to weld. Not this head, but the head that's on the car. But yeah. But went ahead and fabbed these up, so now I'm gonna get at it. Turn my music back on because it's not as warm as it was supposed to be today. But just get all these bolts off, and it's gonna be fun. But I ain't gonna bore you with that. The next time you'll see me is when, oh, we check in next, you know. And we're probably also, while we're doing this, we're gonna go ahead and pull the carburetors off. We're gonna do all the vacuum ports, get rid of all of them, and we're gonna jet all the carburetors up a little bit because I know the engine's running just a tad bit lean. And it needs a little more jet, just because of the exhaust system and everything that's on it now, the load from the transmission. So we're just going to jet it up a little bit. We're going to probably go 1 or 2 jet sizes all together, and that should take care of everything. So let's get at it. Alrighty, well, we got all but 2 of the bolts out, and that's just that bolt right there that the header has to slide off of. So we're pretty much where we are right now. I'm going to get some fresh spark plugs for this thing, especially when we get it running again. Probably need spark plugs just from age. They're over a year old now. But yep, wait for Dad to get home, get this thing in the air, hook the exhaust, take that last header bolt out. And I did notice that there is some further damage on this side, which doesn't have a big blown out hole, but it has all the stress cracks. Well, if you go and look down at that torsion bar, and actually right there at the steering knuckle, you can see where we clearanced it. You won't be able to see it, but we clearanced one of the header tubes for the steering. Well, that clearancing is now way overkill because the header, I think, is actually pushed back. And it's up against the torsion bar now, which it wasn't hitting before, but now it is hitting now. So I put a mark down there so we can hit it with a socket, you know, just clearance it so that way it's not up against the header, or the header tubes ain't up against torsion bar. But alrighty, well, see you guys tonight when service truck is here and we can take this thing and whoop and work on it more. Alrighty, everybody, we're back. Had a slight change of plans. We didn't end up getting the car. We did not end up getting the car off the ground last night. It's just too late and everything. So we're gonna work on it with jack stands, old-fashioned way. I really hate jack stands. Even those heavy-duty ones we got from Jags, I cannot stand working underneath the car with jack stands. It just makes me nervous. Makes me nervous. Had an uncle or a great uncle pass away from not using jack stands, but that, you know, just being in the car like this, I have a hard time trusting that. But all we gotta do is undo the exhaust from the collectors, and then we should be able to start wiggling the exhaust, hopefully. If not, we'll have to start dropping all the suspension, which I know we got to do eventually, and then we're gonna have to take torsion bars out. These headers suck, but you just can't beat them for the price. Equal length tube, tuned header tubes, all that stuff. TTI don't give you none of that. Oh yeah, we're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna talk trash on anybody or, you know, anything. So ignore what I just said. Ignore what I just said. These headers are worth the fight because they fit phenomenal. There's actually effort put into these things. If you actually look at them and just observe how they're routed, someone actually took the time to design these headers. They didn't just upscale the cheapest set of headers you can buy off Jags or Summit. So, oh yeah, we're doing it again. Whoops. Forgot how sparkly those oil filters were. So we're taking the exhaust system loose and show you more. All right, guys, I gotta warn you before we go back outside. It's pretty dang windy, so you're warned. It's windy today. It's not too bad right now, but it's windy nonetheless. So headers are completely loose now, and I'm keeping that gasket there so that way that steel don't get up against that aluminum and beat the crap out of it. But yeah, now it's just suspension and everything else. Oh, there's that wind. So we'll get down here. And yep, get all that stuff taken off so you take these headers out and get to work fixing them or deciding to pay the piper. Alrighty, everybody, had to break out the big air hammer because well, stuff didn't want to come apart. There we go. Now we can get that guy out of the way. Come on. Well, I'll do it once I get the camera away. Oh no, maybe now. Have to reset everything. So, steering's all off, as you can see. Sorry about the camera angle. It's gonna be hard to see underneath here, but I can't remember which header tube. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. We gotta take the torsion bar out at least. I can't remember if we gotta take them both out, but regardless, it sucks. But here you can see some damage. This is where the steering was rubbing, and we had this pre-clearanced. That's damn near through, so I have to plate that and re-clearance it because everything's been moved underneath here. Oh, and there you can really see that broken header tube. Yeah, that thing's busted. Maybe we can fix that, maybe not, I don't know. But working pretty hard down here. It'd be nice to have a service truck. I don't think I can get these headers out without the car being like way in the air, but I'm gonna do my best, see if I get as much of this done as possible. I just want to be able to look at these headers and be able to decide whether or not they're worth fixing or not, because it's gonna suck. And I got to get a new boot for my steering arm, pitman arm. I can't remember what the proper term is because the boot ripped on me. The massive force of my brother's snap-on air hammer that Dad got him. Well, there's actually a funny story behind that air hammer. But I'm gonna keep jabbing at this, hopefully get as much done as possible. And I got a guy coming over with some parts I got to look at, so I'll check in with you guys in a bit. All right, editor's note: this slip tube on the driver's side snakes through right there, and it goes up in just like so. So that guy is out. Try and get the rest of this out. Alrighty, fellers. So got all the spark plugs out, and this is about the easiest way to do the spark plugs with your header hanging off. It kind of sucks, but yeah, I saw daylight through this tube, and like as you can see, even now the header doesn't want to go through, but it's pretty close. I think we get this car in the air with the service truck, we can get this one out. without doing anything with the torsion bar, but I believe it's the other side. We're gonna have to take that torsion bar out, so. All right, back at her. So what says you, Dad, now that you're home?
It's been a long day.
And the shop where it's warm, you've been telling me all week, it's supposed to be nice this week. Yeah, it looks pretty nice until you stand out here with the, 30-degree day and the wind. And
My clock said 55.
it is not 55 degrees. I looked at my phone and it says 37 or 36.
Well, the wind's blowing, it probably feels cold.
Yeah, but you guys can't tell. Look at that. That's about as far as that header will go down. I do believe it's this side. We got to take torsion bar out, but I got all the spark plugs out so they're not in danger and we can read those, which there ain't a lot to read really on the spark plugs because this intake has got horrible fuel distribution because it's a giant open plenum, and this intake, it looks cool, but it sucks. So really, spark plugs, it's anybody's guess, but got that one tube out, the number 7, number 2 over there, which is slip fit. It's lodged inside the headers, but Dad's getting our version of an engine lift or a car lift out, and we're gonna get this car put up in the air so we can get all the rest of this crap out. Get all the parts out of the way, all our little pins and whatnot. So there we go. Yep, that'll be fine. Take her on up, Skipper.
You need it.
We're gonna have to go pretty high. Those straps are regularly checked and they are good. Yep, that might be good enough. All right. See you guys in a minute. I'm gonna get these headers out. Alrighty, well, it's getting dark. Just want to show you the progress. The little flange covers I made worked out pretty good. Got that one on with a cheapo gasket, just a manifold gasket.
Put the gasket on?
Yeah, I gotta put the gasket on. Where'd that other gasket go?
Right there.
Yeah, I'll get that one, Dad. But we managed to get this header over here. We tore up the cylinder head a little bit on that, right on this flange right here, because the header was hitting it pretty hard, and someone was getting angry, aka me, and the starter also took a beating.
Steering sector, don't forget about it.
Yeah, we got to tighten up the steering sector because for some reason the bolts are loose in it. But yeah, everything took a hell of a beating. Even the torsion bar being out, it just didn't want to happen. But yep, that number 5 tube is in fact blown out, and it looks pretty hairy and scary, but I'll look at it here in a minute after I get all this done, because, well, getting dark. Alrighty. You guys can't see shit, but that's okay, because I can. So, the verdict is, I could probably fix them. Is it worth fixing? That's a whole nother question. So, there's the damage. And I mean, that is a tight quarter right there. And, yeah. I mean, there's daylight for days in that tube. And the other sucky part is all the header tubes have been pulled back. You know, literally all the tubes have been moved just a little bit back. And yeah, there's a lot of stress cracks on this one, and I got to really inspect these really well tomorrow. But there's a reason why, guys, I made those flange covers, because once again I dig back into Jezebel and I'm already sick of it, because I refuse to buy smaller tube headers because it's not what the engine was built for. That engine is just right on that verge of not being fast enough to be a race car, but also too fast for a street car. And well, it was designed to have those headers. That's what's going to keep. Well, the whole car around those right there, that's what's going to keep. Whether it be those ones or new ones or whatever. But, yep, I think old Jezebel can continue to sit just a little bit longer. At least now the headers are off. And whenever I get a wild hair, I can start working on it. There's only one pair of headers I'll buy for this car, and that's these Headman Hustlers. And like I said, they're like $900 and some. So yeah. And then to add insult to injuries, I I know I've seen pictures of the tubes. I talked to a rep at Headman, and they look very, very similar, if not identical to these, but there's really no guarantee. And I mean, you're gonna have to notch those new ones just like this, and you're gonna have to coat them or paint them, and that's more and more money. And you can't do hookers, because hooker, for some stupid reason, thinks a tube's got to go outside the fender well around the frame rail on their 2-inch primary and their 2 1/8-inch primary headers. And unfortunately, on the 2-inch primary super comps, where they come through, like I showed you, it's right where my clutch master cylinder is, which is where it has to be. That's where it's designed to go. And the other headers are their all-out adjustable race headers, and they got tubes going through the fender well, the inner fender, and I ain't cutting holes in my car. So there it is. Headers are out. What a fight. And I gotta give a big thank you to Dad. He's already gone inside to make dinner, because, well, it's late. Another late night here in Kansas, and it's just getting colder and colder. I gotta cover up old Jezebel, and, well, she's all tucked away, and we'll get to work on her again here soon. But appreciate you guys for checking out this one. I know it was just basically me filming, you know, going, okay, that's what I'm gonna do, and then I did it. Well, there's what I did. Let's do this. And yeah, it's one of those videos I don't really like to watch, and I don't really want to do, but I like showing what I'm doing. But you guys don't need to watch me sit there and cuss and hammer and bang on old headers. You'll get to see that in the next video with these things, because that'll probably be what happens to them. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.